But let me shift gears a little bit. All of these sports metaphors sound good, but practical life is a whole nother level of vulnerability and fear. Some things run deep. I get it. Hey there, good people. This is Joanna again with the Harmonious.Balance channel, and I am here to encourage you in the moments where you've missed your shot, not to bow out of the game, but to square up for another shot by grabbing the offensive rebound. You know, oftentimes, even though we may not admit it, we give up on ourselves. And many times we give up way too easily by deciding that certain things are not worth the hassle, not worth the effort. Over the years, the growing mentality that I hear is that we don't even enter a fight if we perceive we're going to lose. We're seeing this all the time now. What comes to mind right now is our legal system, from elections to legislation, all the way up through to justice. Some folks won't even get arrested because it's been determined prematurely that a case can't be won in court. There's so many things problematic about that, but that's a topic for another day that I could address later on this channel in our For Your Consideration series. But back to the topic at hand though. Wanting a guarantee is understandable. I get it. Fear of losing can have a tight grip on us. Now, by the way, if you haven't watched 5 Strategies to Becoming More Fearless, then please check it out. Ironically, the truth is, though, that we actually do get a guarantee. It's not a guaranteed win, but a guaranteed loss. An automatic L on the record. What saddens me, though, is that we don't realize that not fighting is worse than a loss. It's a no-show. It's a forfeit. And all because of fear. Fear gets us all in our emotions, and our emotions can steer us in some crazy directions and make us believe some crazy things and make us even say crazy things. Now, I can't remember if this was when he was with Miami or Cleveland, but I remember LeBron James saying after a loss in the finals that he'd rather not even make the playoffs. I mean, the playoffs than losing the finals. Now, granted, he was emotional after losing. But I remember thinking that that was some BS right there. He can't possibly believe that. He's a competitor at the highest level of his sport. Yeah, he was just in his emotions, but you know, that's what actually many people think. It's an all or nothing proposition. We psych ourselves out so much thinking that we're this long shot underdog. And I want to change your idea about what it means to be the underdog, because being the underdog is very much a worthy position. Now, in the competitive society that we live in, I get why being an underdog isn't appealing. Winners are celebrated and lauded as so superior that it's like no one else even stands a chance against them. It amazes me listening to all these sports analysts trying to predict winners and losers, especially during the playoffs and tournaments. Many times they act so surprised when there's an upset or if it's not a cakewalk for their highly favored. I always sit back like, you think the underdog didn't come to play? You think the underdog is just supposed to roll over and let your favorite walk all over them? The underdog realizes they're in the game too, you know. It's their moment too. You think they don't want it just as bad? And even if they lose, they give their opponents a run for their money. How many times in victory speeches have you heard winners show respect to their runner-up? It's not just a show of sportsmanship. Their opponents were formidable. They won, but they know they were just put through the paces and that their win was not guaranteed like all the analysts thought. Now, you're probably thinking, Joanna, ending in second place is still not the goal. Okay, fine. It's not the goal, but it's certainly much closer to the goal than not showing up in the first place. It puts you in the arena. It puts you among those who are actually doing what you want to do, and you're in a better position to achieve the goal the next go round. And the journey to second place would be a much more fulfilling journey, much more fulfilling, very much more than the journey of sitting on the sidelines watching everybody else play this game of life. You know what comes to mind for me is my life coach, counselor, therapist, whatever you want to call him. He's an Olympic silver medalist hurdler. And I'm pretty sure he wouldn't trade his experience for anything. He certainly wouldn't say because he didn't get the gold, he would have rather stayed at home watching everybody else. How does it serve you to watch others play the game that you actually want to be a player in? You see others living their best lives and you want the same for yourself. And if you say you don't, then I don't believe you. You don't want to lose. You don't want to forfeit. You may not know what to do. You may feel inadequate. You might even feel unworthy and even unsupported. But to say you don't want it, nah, I ain't buying it. At the very least, be honest with yourself about that. Denying it is merely a defense mechanism that doesn't really protect you. But let me shift gears a little bit. All of these sports metaphors sound good, but practical life is a whole nother level of vulnerability and fear. Some things run deep. I get it. For me, there are a couple of things that emotionally that are not a priority for me right now, but I'm not losing sight of it. I'm building myself back up for it. For me to take it on right now, the windows of heaven would have to open up for me. And until that happens, and even if it doesn't happen, I'm good. So if you're wounded, it's important to recover and heal. One of the worst things we could do is return to the game still injured. So it's hugely important to properly recover. Many times we become maladaptive, which isn't any better. So focus on proper recovery if that is indeed the stage you're in. But please know that the last phase of the healing process usually is a mental one. It involves getting back into the game and returning to the scene of the crime to face it and restore your confidence. Whether it's getting back into the game of purpose, the game of love, the game of health, what have you. You're worthy of all of it. So when the moment comes for you to suit up, don't shrink back from it. Rise to the occasion and be formidable, even if only to yourself. After all, the fight is always within, so prove yourself wrong. Now that's all I wanted to share right now. I hope this was helpful to you in some way. Please take care and again, be formidable. I will see you later, good people.